to another XLM video. Now, first thing I want to talk about is my change of wave analysis. Yes, it changes, chops, changes, all this sort of stuff, right? I get that. I get that some people want to post stuff that suggests that I'm an emotional roller coaster. You know what? The market is a freaking roller coaster. Look at these massive swings. Try to figure that shit out, mate. Try to figure it out. Where's it going from here? In a big circle? Doing some weird shit? Like, okay, that's fine. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just like you. But the thing is that I'm trying to make sense of the patterns in all markets at the same time, especially XLM and Bitcoin and XRP and some others too. Altcoins, yeah, like Solana, 80A, Cardano. And what I notice is that there's a lot of shit that is uncorrected. There's a lot of uncorrected patterns. There's a lot of very simple, perceived to be completed corrections, which they don't really look complete. And that, in my head, that rings alarm bells. It really makes me think that, well, bear market rallies do happen, and they happen to a very large extent in cryptos. They happen to a massive extent in cryptos, and it's actually very disturbing to your mind, especially if you came from world of stocks and forex, FX trading, whatever. And I suppose those type of swings can influence your psychology. So yes, it is true. It can affect your emotion because it's unusual to see that type of swing. But that's fine. I tend to self correct over time. And I also want to show you the Bitcoin pattern. The, the logical, straightforward, no bullshit Bitcoin pattern, right? Because I have many times tried to make this out to be corrective, but I come to my senses every now and then and draw funny lines. Um, and the most obvious count at the moment seems to be one of my oldest counts. And I'm afraid that I have to go back to my roots here with the count, with the one, two, three, four, five for wave three in 2017, right? The A, B, C, I'm finally convinced that that's a C. And this is important because I predicted this ages ago, years ago on this channel. And I totally just tried to come up with something different. I don't know why. You can call that emotion. You can call that whatever the hell you want. But experience and time again will teach you about doing that. And sometimes you need to let the pattern just play out. And at the moment, it looks like this is a wave D almost at its completion in Bitcoin, right? Yes, it's made a fantastic run, but it's just a wave D. Apparently, it's just a wave D. It's not the start of a massive bull trend. No, it's not. I really don't believe it is, right? I don't believe it, right? I believe that what's happening now is typical of what a wave D does, right? A wave D, in its essence, is designed to make you think. I don't mean design, but according to my research and analysis on wave Ds, they make you feel like the trend is going to continue and they end up turning out to be a bull trap, right? it makes it look like it's going to go and explode to the upside, but then it reverses, right? And I've pulled this chart apart so many times now that this is the only count that makes sense with that D wave happening. And also, I've had to go back and actually change this correction back to an A wave, because no matter how many times you want to pull a wave apart, when it looks like a freaking zigzag, it's a freaking zigzag. For Christ's sakes, why try to get so complicated on stuff? Just because Ethereum or XRP, sorry, XLM, looks like it has a 5-way move when the shit is expanded. Who would I trust, Bitcoin or XLM? Well, that's the whole point. When waves are expanded, you go back and forth. Who's telling the truth? Is it Bitcoin or XLM? Why would I trust XLM? Bitcoin has the clearest patterns, and I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly because it's a long-term pattern, right? And long-term patterns give you so much time to think about the possibilities. It's ridiculous. I find it ridiculous. It is. It's totally ridiculous. And it messes with you. But there is something that will change on this front. And what I believe it is that we will end up seeing a completed correction. And when we see a completed correction, we will then have the opportunity to have a long position that will be the type of long position that you can hold for quite a while and make a ridiculous sum of money, and just basically have it on all the time, and every day you're making money. Yes, absolutely, that is coming 100%. Now, I did take a pretty good position on the Bitcoin trade, right? I actually posted about it, and we went up, above the last high, and then I started taking smaller trades. But nobody could have expected this move to go this high unless you measured wave A, which basically says that we are already at the length required. So I wouldn't be surprised if we turned around pretty soon. And that move that happened last night, it didn't just affect Bitcoin, it was across the board. Right now, XLM had that move, but let me show you what I think is happening on XLM. Actually, you probably already know, I just have more labels on the chart at the moment. That this is just a wave C down, and we need one more leg down. So we have 1, 2, 3, and the subdivisions are, it's like reading out the lottery: A, B, C, D, E. So this move up, I I couldn't count anything else as a C, D, E pattern. Like, I tried to do this as a D pattern and an E, but there's a lot of problems in here with that type of thinking. So I thought it must be this, because this must be getting ready to dump in a very slow way. Why? Probably because XLM is sick and tired of being dumped on, and so it's getting, the move down is getting weaker. It's already weak, but it's gone down more than any other coin and stayed down, right? So I think that there's a good chance that we are looking at what appears to be a 1-2-1, and the 2 hasn't completed yet. I'm still working on that. I told you I would bring something to you in the coming days. So, okay, so what was it that I was trying to trade that made this weird pattern, right? I think it was an A first leg of a D wave, right? The first move of a D wave. And then, funny enough, I think that these moves were an A, B, and what we just saw was a C, right? So up until the C wave, we see now obviously there's a bit of a bounce going on, which is completely crazy. Like that shit is weird to me. But it kind of makes me think that it's a wave five. Instead of this being the wave five, I think this is the wave five, right? Um, like an A, B, C, really expanded D, E. So possibly one more high and a reversal for wave C, right? Now, I want to show you XRP because this one's really now come back into my attention, like into my into my focus. Like it's getting my attention because it's a very basic pattern that I've made very complicated over time. But we also need to remember that it's fallen the least out of both XLM and XRP. This has fallen the very least. So I would say that this has more to lose at this point than XLM. So I think what we're seeing here is basically we just had an what am I doing? I'm always moving waves the wrong way. It's just a problem. Right. So we had an A and a B. Right. I can go fancy with the colors, but I will anyway. And okay, so basic pattern, I'm pretty sure, is A B. C. C. Wait a minute. C. We haven't seen anything of a C. This this has just not fallen down. It's just been so good at being resilient. It's amazing. But I think that will change. I think we're going to have, so I think we had a one, mini one, A, B, C, D, E. I think that's legit. We broke below the start of wave five. Well, kinda. It's a very complicated pattern. I don't want to get into that right now. But if this is going to be some kind of downturn right now, because for it to go up anymore makes 0 cents, 0 cents, then we're looking at basically a wave. Sorry, was this right? Okay, there's two versions of this count. I'll give you the first version, right? The first version is, well, this is a wave one, okay? And then we had, now it's going orange. All right, one sec. And then we had a wave A, we had a wave B here, a B. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this one. It's a bit up in the air. Is this a C, D, E pattern? Because if that's E, this is resistance right here, right? And whatever the hell this is doing right now, it's not going to go above this, right? Or there is an alternative. What we could be seeing is sort of the same thing. You know what? Basically the same thing, except it's not a CDE. It's just a C up here. And if it's a C up here, and this is the interesting part about this particular analysis that I find interesting. Even if that is a C, this is still resistance because you still need to see a three-wave like a zigzag down, and we haven't seen that yet. Unless, and I also checked this out, which is crazy. This is a D wave already, right? And that's funny because when you look at the internals, it's a bit strange. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 might be right. That means there's no rule broken. Okay, wave D hasn't happened yet. And this is the interesting part is that XLM is kind of in the same boat. We need a wave D down before we see a wave E and a and the beginning of a real sharp move down. So according to my analysis, both of these counts suggest at least a move down below the last low, right? So in this case, if this is a D wave, the A wave of a D wave, then we need to see a move that goes down roughly about here, which is pretty cool, right? If it's a CDE pattern and this is a wave 1, 2, well, then you just keep holding on to that short position and keep moving lower. So at the moment, I don't know which one is the right one. I'm going to keep obsessing over the patterns over the coming days in order to sort of try to find something that I've missed because I always bloody miss something. There's just so many waves that I will inevitably miss stuff, right? But then out of nowhere, I'll sort of think about something that I missed and it'll kind of like indicate the most likely scenario. So that's how it works with me on this stuff. I mean, I figured out how to read the waves using RS Wave, and I've gotten into some pretty cool trades. So I've got that sort of stuff that's possible, but I don't rest like I don't. How do you say that? What is that saying? Anyway, the point is that I don't let it get to me. I don't let it get to my ego that, oh, you're so good, you're amazing, because it's so hard to keep doing that, right? Especially when you're trying to short something, especially when Bitcoin looks like it's topped and you get a move down that in XRP has already broken that high, but then sort of looking like it's going to reverse. There's always a reason why these sharp moves happen, but they don't always mean the same thing in every market, right? Sometimes you can have a sharp move and it doesn't mean it's the start of a move down. It just means that, well, it happened at the time when it was producing a particular pattern and then it happened to, you know, be the last move, just make one tiny high after that and then it's done. Like, and there's no common theme. You can't use one move to guess another crypto, especially if it hasn't happened yet. You can't do that, right? Like cryptos move sort of similarly, but they're not doing exactly the same pattern. They're not. Like like in a bull market, like 2017, that might be true. But during a corrective portion of the move, like XLM has completed most of its wave C, whereas XRP, it's almost like it hasn't even gotten started, right? You can't count that as a five-wave move. That's irresponsible and stupid to assume it. So do we think that XRP can't fall anymore just because it's got a nice little cute flag pattern? That doesn't mean shit. The markets don't give a shit about pattern like shapes, right? It don't give a shit about Fibonacci either, right? It just does what it does. That's the whole thing about these patterns. Anyway, I wish I could show you more. Like I was going to show you the XLM XRP chart, but I'll show it to you next time. Thanks for watching.